Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. Welcome to Thrive Not to Survive. I'm your host, Nasira Jamal, and today it's you and me. And I was wanting to talk to you, especially if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur and you are looking at what's going on in the world. COVID-19 has hit, there's social unrest, there's a lot of things going on which cause uncertainty for people. And what I wanted to talk to you about is how do you meet yourself up in that level of the impact you want to have. Perhaps you're looking at, maybe there was a job loss or a layoff, and you're looking at perhaps recreating yourself, and you're wondering how can you do what you want to do? How do you fulfill your mission or your purpose? And in these times of uncertainty, what's required out there are leaders and influencers, and for people who can help other people. And so today I wanted to talk about something that I'm really excited about because I've just been certified in a methodology. So if you've been following me over the last few months, I've been talking a lot about personality science and a bank and what it all means. And for some of you who have been following me for a while, you've actually cracked your code. And now it's like, well, what does it all mean? And if you are a sales professional, you really want to hone in on this because this is going to help you up level your sales skills, your communication skills, and just in terms of your whole life for relationships. If you're looking at how you can up level your ability to have impact, then this is going to be a conversation that you really want to listen in on. So as you know, I've just been certified in this methodology, and I want to go over sort of what does this mean and why I did what I did in terms of taking this as the next step of my personal development. You see, I've always been a big proponent of doing courses and taking different classes on increasing my level of not just knowledge, but with the knowledge, the application of it. And when I decided to take this certification, it was really because as I step into my power of helping other people, and as a realtor, I'm working with clients all the time, helping them either buy a home or sell a home. But when we're doing any kind of sales, it's really about communication, and how do you communicate with somebody matters, whether it's a sales or relationship, in terms of moving that forward. And what I want to talk to you about is what I learned in this certification that I did. Now, this is unlike anything else I've taken, and I've been certified in many different modalities and courses, but this one really stood apart or stands apart because, for one, there's an assessment that you take before you start the program. So it tells you where you are in 6 intelligences. So I'm going to go over the 6 intelligences with you, but it tells you where you are in those intelligences. And for a lot of people, they only thought really IQ was the only intelligence that was important. But when I went through this and we went through the 6 intelligences, it was really interesting to see how this all plays a part in not just your sales or your business, but in your relationships, in your life as a whole. So this was a very unique kind of program that I took. And so what I want to talk about is how these 6 intelligences really go through and help you optimize yourself so you can maximize results in terms of your business, your sales, and your relationships. Now, as a realtor, as I just said, I'm talking to clients all the time, and I've added a component to my business of coaching, which is to help others get to a level of mastery in helping others and serving their tribes in their avatars. And these 6 intelligences actually put everything together and help you get better at what you're doing and reach levels of mastery that perhaps you were feeling like you just weren't getting to. And so let's talk about the 6 intelligences first. The first one is personality science. So as you've been following me, you've seen me talk about the personality science, which is the 4 different profiles on personality. So a lot of people have said to me, well, Nasira, there's lots of personality tests out there. I mean, there's DISC, there's Insight, there's, animals and stones and different things that people have put together to determine someone's personality. So that's an important thing because, of course, we need to understand who we are and how we operate. But with what I've learned in terms of the bank methodology, it's really personality science reverse engineered to understand buying behavior of your client, and not just buying behavior in terms of sales and products, but really in terms of conversation. If you are if you want to influence somebody in, let's say you're looking at, talking to your husband or your children and you're negotiating, if you can understand how personality science can help you have better communication, better harmonious relationships, it can move the needle. And for a lot of people, especially going through COVID, what I've heard from clients is it's been tenuous. Relationships have been tested because you're sharing space, you're sharing a lot more time together that you haven't, and it's causing tension because communication, if it's not harmonious, can be butting heads. So this is where personality science comes in, is that you understand the other person's values and you talk to them in that language, which is their language, as opposed to, from your perspective, understanding your personality is there's that one profile of your personality. But if you understand the other person's personality profile and you speak to them in the values that are most important to them, you're able to have a conversation that is way more harmonious. So that's how personality science is different in terms of the other tests that are out there, like especially DISC in the corporate world. A lot of businesses use DISC, but the question is, how is it different? Well, it's really different because it allows you to determine buying behavior and it helps you understand your clients from their perspective. So the second intelligence that we went through was sales intelligence. And this was very interesting because what happens is when you understand why people buy and you understand the tripwires of why what you say could actually turn them off of not making that yes decision. So for a lot of people in sales, especially, if you have taken sales training, you've probably been told that sales is a numbers game. And in order to get yeses, you have to get a lot of no's. But if you look at that as a flawed kind of way of thinking, that how come you need so many no's before you can get a yes? Wouldn't it be more logical to say that in order to get more yeses, you just need to get more yeses? And how do you do that? So when you combine your personality intelligence to your sales intelligence, you're able to understand how you can take your prospect or your client from a position of a no to a yes, because you're presenting to them in a way that makes more sense to them in terms of their values. So if you're selling a product or service, how do you talk about your product or service in a way that meets their needs, meets their objectives? And that's how you can increase your sales, by talking to them with the same product or service, but how do you get them to move to a yes, because it's fulfilling their needs, it's meeting their objective, it's meeting them where they're at. And so this is where your sales volume can really dramatically change. So that was number 2, which was sales intelligence. The third one we discussed, which was, I think, in this time, in this day and age, and what we're going through right now with all of the things that are globally being affected, is emotional intelligence. Now, this is one of those things where you have to, we looked at sort of internally, or a reflection of our own emotional intelligence. And then how do we show up for others in terms of empathy, looking at it through their lens, and helping them through their process, and also, looking at what triggers us and how do we move the needle in terms of our own emotional intelligence, so we can show up for our clients, our family, and the people that we interact with in a way more higher level of empathy. And right now, with what's going on in the world, this is where leaders need to focus on, is the emotional intelligence, because this is what's going to move us from the place we are at in terms of influence, in terms of compassion, in terms of empathizing with others from their perspective, and helping them and helping sort of the community at large and globally at large, how we can move this needle. And then we talked about the fourth intelligence, which was artificial intelligence. This is a very, it's something that's out there and people kind of get really eerie, like, oh, what does this mean in terms of robots? Well, it's not so much that we're talking about robots with bank iOS or the bank artificial intelligence. This is about finding a way that you can, in nanoseconds, figure out how that other person, your prospect, your client, or the relationship you're in, your children, your husband, how can you figure out their values system, their communication style in simply nanoseconds, that you can actually figure out how to show up for them and make that difference and talk to them in their code or in their language and help them faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence really is where my needle moved the highest, because it was very low. My intelligence in artificial intelligence, or my knowledge of it, was very low. And as I took this 6-week certification, which was an intense course that I took, it moved the needle for me in artificial intelligence, because now I'm able to take the technology and help more people faster. And so that's my real estate clients, my people that buy and sell with me, and the people I'm coaching. I can help them way more faster because I'm able to take the artificial intelligence technology and apply it into my business. And the fifth intelligence that we talked about was business intelligence. So this is where a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners actually fall. And this was another big learning for me, because a lot of entrepreneurs don't use data to make their decisions in terms of how they're running their business, their marketing, and how this intelligence. And when we took the whole week in processing this information and applying it into our business, what happened is the message got clearer, the marketing got clearer, because as you market, you understand if you want to market, let's say, to a person that has values that are highly based on knowledge, data, you want to make sure your marketing talks to that type of person. A lot of people are throwing marketing out there that's really just willy-nilly, and it's all over the place. It's not really talking to their particular avatar or that particular personality. They're just kind of putting things out there and perhaps almost mimicking other marketing strategies that may not be working, but because they see it online, they're just saying, well, I'll use it and frame it in my business. But they have no knowledge in terms of how to address marketing to their avatar. And so business intelligence, we dug in deep in figuring out who the avatar is and how do you market to that person or that profile to be able to get that information, that marketing correct, so that there are more people coming into your database of leads, prospects, and how you can monetize the data once you have data. A lot of people don't keep data, and so their business tends to go up and down, and everything is sort of fluctuating, and they're not really sure which way the wheel is moving. And in business, if you want to grow, if you want to scale, you have to have data, and you have to be able to use that data to pivot your marketing in terms of how you're addressing your avatar. So this was a very big week because it helped us all really figure out what the avatar is and how do you market to them. And the data, how to use the data. And then the final one was spiritual intelligence. This was something that really is not about religion. It's not about really any form of religion. It's more about the alignment of your mission, your passion, and how you are showing up, how you want to serve your community or your tribe or your avatar or your business, how you want it to grow, how you want it to, perhaps you have a cause that you are supporting, and how can you align your business with aligning with that cause. So this was a sort of an overview. It took everything in terms of the other 5 intelligences, brought it together, and created something where we were able, there was about 150 of us that took this certification, and it really brought everything as a whole together for us to now step into our businesses with way better understanding and up-leveling the level of influence that we have within our niche markets and our families. And so this was sort of to, it's based sort of on relationships. That's how initially it was created. Actually, it was created for business, and then it pivoted because we realized, the creator of the program realized that relationships were being impacted. There was a lot more people writing in saying, "Oh my God, that this whole methodology has saved my marriage. It saved my relationship with my children. It has given me more of a better relationship with my spouse or my partner." And so what this really allowed me to do is to understand it from the perspective of business and from the perspective of relationships, because really, as we're communicating, this is on all levels. As we communicate, we are influencing in terms of our conversations with whoever we're having. So, a lot of people don't like the word sales, and we can use the word influence. If you're not really happy with the word sales because it intimidates you or it frightens you or it just gives you an eerie feeling, look at it as an influence. Look at it, how do you influence somebody to give them the information they need in the way that they need it, how you present it to them so that they can make the right decision based on their needs and their objectives. So I wanted to talk to you about these intelligences because I think when you understand this and you implement it, you're able to up-level all of your needs and wants and what you want to create for your life, for your family, for your business. And I want to invite you today. I actually am doing a master class and digging in deeper into these intelligences and showing you how you can up-level your communication for you, for your business, for your relationship, so that you can actually have control over the impact that you want. So that's happening tonight at 7 p.m. If you're interested, I'm going to put the link to that registration in the comments. And I would love for you to message me if you have questions about any of these intelligences. The cool thing about the intense course that I just took was that after the 6 weeks, we actually took another assessment. And this assessment allowed us to see from where we started in the intelligences and how we ended after the 6 weeks of intense training and how we moved that needle. And what I want to share with you tonight is how big that change was for me personally. And some of the students in the class were seeing enormous amount of changes in their business and in their relationships. And I'd like to share that with you tonight. So I invite you to join me. It's also an opportunity for you if you are in small business, if you have a small business, you're a coach, perhaps you're a consultant or a trainer, and you want to add this to your toolbox. Remember, as we talk about personal development, it is really important to be aware of how much information you've got and how much you're applying. And if you're able to move the needle when you're doing personal development, the idea is to get better and master a skill, master your craft. It's really important as our entrepreneurs that we continue that personal development journey because things are evolving, we're evolving, and our avatar or our niche markets are evolving, and how do we show up for them? So I'd like to invite you to the masterclass tonight. It's at 7 p.m. The link will be in the comments below. Message me if you have any questions, if you have any kind of struggles that you're going through that you really feel like you want to ask a question about. How can this help? How can you put this toolkit into your tool case and have a better business, have better relationships, and how do you create that for yourself? So we'll be discussing all of that tonight. You can private message me if you have any further questions about the class. I'm going to be happy to answer them before the class, or also, during the class, we'll be discussing some of the more important things in terms of the depth of each intelligence and how we actually were able to learn and how to apply. So it's one thing to take in all the knowledge, but the course that was offered to us that we in certification was during the week, we actually applied it to our business. And we were able to see changes. And I'll tell you, as I was doing it, I was so excited because the conversations I was having now with my clients, with my real estate business, as well as my coaching business, the conversations were just far more deeper. They were more engaging. People were leaning in as I was practicing the personality science and profile on their personality that I was able to have better conversations, and they were leaning in for more information, and it actually changed my business. So I want to share that with you because this can help you no matter where you're at in your business, whether you're a startup entrepreneur, maybe you're actually looking at scaling your business. This is actually going to help you supercharge things because it's like it's a methodology on steroids because it has had a white paper done on it. Forbes has actually said that this is the future of sales. And so with all of the studies that has gone behind the methodology, they have proven that this actually helps in determining buying behavior. And how can that help you really scale your business? And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm so enormously excited, and I feel humbled that now this information that has been given to me, that I'm able to share it with others. Because for me, being a coach, the important thing is helping others get to where they want to get to. And as a coach, if you are a coach, you know that you're helping others, you're a few steps ahead of them, but you want to sort of take them and move them up with you as well. So thank you for joining me today. Happy Monday. I'm so glad that you guys that join me every weekday on the interviews that I'm doing with other entrepreneurs, when I'm bringing you information, that you're engaging. And I want to wish you a wonderful, happy Monday. I'll see you tomorrow. I do have an interview scheduled with a very powerful entrepreneur. So we'll be discussing that tomorrow. Please join me tonight, 7 p.m. You do have to register. So make sure you click on the link if you want to be a part of the masterclass tonight. Happy Monday. Love you all. Be kind to yourself and to others. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.